if you're a person who tends to be always in the club, the devil can figure, so well, you know, if this man's a club man, then club people usually want certain things. This is why they, you know, it's like a one size fits all, and usually it works because they've been doing it for a long while, and they know exactly how to, you know, set up the thing for you to entrap you, right? Because you're constantly going just in a certain direction. It's like I used to tell people, I said, when I'm finished working, I don't hang around, right? If I'm there, I must be doing some work. Why? Because I'm not young anymore. I see what happens when sometimes some things I see happen when I was at to work and I'm sitting at my desk working, and people sometimes not even working and get paid for it, just chatting away or whatever and so forth. And some things happen. I said, okay, this is that thing, it's a trap. Okay, so you can get yourself into trouble. Use wisdom. Okay? But in this verse here, David said, he said, one thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. And there's so much inside of that. There's so much inside of that. What would a man like David really desire? Right? There is something about the desires of this world. As I said to you, a man want to win the jackpot. He want to win the Mega Millions. You could think of David as a person who had won the jackpot. He had won the Mega Millions. You think of him as sometimes you hear them say, like, I hear them say, people have said that poverty is a sin. And I asked myself the other day, it came to me and I said, but how can something be a sin and you never did anything? Do you do anything to be poor? A sin is an action. So if you did something that caused you to be poor, then if it was something you did wrong, like you were a cook and you got yourself one thing and you cook whatever and the law catch up with you and now you have nothing, then that's a sin. But if you are poor, just poor like that, just thinking, it's not a sin. How can it be a sin? You never did anything. Did you do something while you're poor? No. Okay? But I'm saying that David had come from humble beginnings as a shepherd, and he had no real interest in being no king anyway. But as we know the whole story, how he was anointed the king, I'm sure he was shocked when he came and saw the prophet, and he said, but something is going on here. And he told him, come here, boy, come here. So it's anointed him, and David must say, like, me, what's going on here? When he was finished, he went back to go feed his sheep. He doesn't know what's the thing about being king. Right? He got himself into trouble by saving Israel from trouble when he killed Goliath. And Saul did realize that, well, you know, I better get rid of him because he's going to be the next king. So David's life went from, like say, one elevation, and then took a nosedive, like it was going to crash in the mountains. And he was living in the mountains for real, as I mentioned that. But eventually, God lifted him up, and he became king. What else does he want anymore in this world? The rulers of this world. Yesterday I was watching a documentary on YouTube about this man in the Congo. They said the king of Belgium, I think it was. I didn't even know that they used to rule the Congo. And how they used to amputate people. They tell them, like, this is something like in the days of fear or worse, they have to produce a certain amount of this. They don't, they cut off their hands, and whoever opposed, you cut off their feet and all these things, and how much millions of people were killed by this king after his orders, and the people who execute these orders are just as wicked too, you know. You understand? I'm telling you. They're just as wicked. So I don't think you're going to escape, because the king not going out there and do it, you know. He's not doing it because you're going to say, no, I don't want no anything like that to be on my hand. He tells you to do it, right? God, David is telling him that, well, you stay at the back. But what I'm trying to say is that all of these things, we became the king, and they suppress the people, oppress the people. David never oppressed the people either, right? Bible says when David had people come together, every man get a loaf of bread and flagon of wine and good piece of meat, go home, everybody feel happy, right? Everybody take care of everybody, right? He don't exalt himself about the people. But a poor man, he know what poverty is, right? Do we have some people like that today? No. You know? So hard, great the fire. You know what poverty is? Sin and a sin. Right? But God exalted him to the place where he's king. Right? And his army is feared throughout the world, and he has no notoriety. And he is exalted as king. Yet, the David is saying that there is still one thing that he desires of the Lord. When people get to that point in life, they usually figure that they have had it made. Right? How can you be king of a nation, of a people that's mighty and strong, and then you're going to turn around and say that you desire something? Not even that, but desire of the Lord. Because as I said to people today, last week when I was talking about the, when I sent you about the Ethiopian eunuch, he had 3 reasons not to care about God. Right? Go back to that message there last week about see here is water. He had 3 reasons not to care about God. In David's case, it was David who never forgot where he was coming from, and he never forgot that it was God who put him where he is. Nevertheless, he realized that his position as king was not the end. That was the purpose that God had for his life. Okay? Because all of that was just about this life. He could get lost in it, just like his predecessor. Right? When he took the kingdom, Saul took the kingdom, he looked like he was very zealous, and he looked like he was going to succeed. And Samuel gave him a good chance, but before he knew it, he blew the whole thing. And Samuel looked at him good and he said, you know, your kingdom is not going to stand. You have gotten to the point of being ruler in Israel. You're not listening to what God is saying. So the kingdom is not going to stand. Finally, he told him, he said, God has appointed a different man to be captain. And he's going to take over. Saul must be wondering, like, what does he mean? Who is this man? Because king now means he's supposed to have his son and a dynasty. Something is going to go wrong. But David is going to take over the kingdom, and he's not going to kill him to take it. He's not going to overthrow him. He's not going to be a coup or something like that. He's not going to overthrow him to take it. God is going to work it out. And David has all of this now. And he's still saying one thing about desire of the Lord. And there is something about a desire. Notice he said afterward, he said, that will I seek after. You don't have a person who desires something and takes no action on it. Okay? A person desires to get a master's degree, and he has nothing. No way. You know, I saw that thing, a documentary. Which country it was again? One of these countries, they said that children are sitting outside in the street light in order to get light to do their homework. never heard of any such thing in all my life. What country was it again? Some other country where the people are suffering, the government is, you know, these crooks or whatever. I'm telling you, you ever hear of something like that? The children are sitting, you see children sitting on the street light on the side of the road just in order to do their homework. It is clear that those children have a desire. And their desire would be to pass whatever test it is, whatever exam it is, to raise themselves up to a better life, something better that maybe can take them out of the slums or take them out of wherever they're living, you know, maybe would take them to America, to England or whatever, something. Nevertheless, that was not David's situation, because David didn't need somebody to take him to the best of this life. He was there already. He had it. And I know for some people, when they came to America, I used to hear some people say that they came with Jesus, and when they got to the airport, they left Jesus at the airport and went home without him. My God, how do you do something like that? Right? They took Jesus for the taxi man, right? And the taxi man, you know, when you go somewhere and you go with your own family or whatever, everybody stay together with a car. But when you go in a taxi, you just pay him and he's gone, right? So they took Jesus like the taxi man and went to the airport, and then he was gone. They got about their own business because they didn't need Jesus again. They got what they wanted. I see people, they say people are coming across the border in America in droves, and thousands and thousands of them. I don't even know what these people are looking for. They're looking for a better life, they say, but they're coming into America very late. You know, but I guess it might be better for them. I don't even know. I don't even know. But they're thinking like it's a utopia, and it's not. But many have lived here for decades. No, it wasn't so. And even now, with all of this crash that's going on in this country, it's far worse. And the effort that these people make, because the drug cartels and all these people are making millions of dollars off of them. They say, give us X amount of money and we will get you to America. And they don't get you here legally. And some people come here and have to commit crimes and all these sort of things in order to help pay off these debts. Because as I said, if you have a desire, you're going to do something about it. Right? In many of these countries, even in China and all these countries, they want their children, they say, to have a better life. In India, a lot of these countries, they come. So they pay somebody in America for whatever, and they pay them a lot of money. So that they say, well, their child will be in America. Their child can go to school in America. Right? That's their desire. And because that's their desire, they seek after it. Sometimes when you hear the kind of monies that these people have spent for these things, I'm saying to my mind, where these people in that kind of impoverished, where do they get this kind of money from? Right? And the people extortioners are taking this money from them. And they make money off of it. That's how they live, by oppressing these people and taking them for a ride. But David, as I said to you, he had everything. Right? He had servant, men servant, he had the whole kingdom under his control. And David was saying one thing about the desire of the Lord. He said, Lord, I'm begging you, Lord. I'm begging you. My soul yearn after you. I desire. Okay? Now when it comes to your kingdom and eternity, and to your house, you talk about it, not about no temple. You know, I know temple in those days anyway. It was still the same tent which he got from Moses, right? He said, so don't you go think, I mean, so many people are preaching these erroneous things today. Like the man I told you was talking about how God have the angels and cherubim and seraphim as his bodyguard. Utter nonsense. It's like a fool. As if to say God needs bodyguards. He needs people to serve. You think he's what do you think he is? The President of the United States? Somebody who's going to map out his chart and what he's going to say and how I have to read his speech and figure out how the best route for him to go and if his plane can fly to there, if he can take off, it can. No! We think God's a man. These angels depend on him, he doesn't depend on them. That's why he's created, that's why he's eternal. But I'm saying to you, so when the Bible says, I dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, don't think there was no house. Because the thing that Moses made didn't have no space for anybody. What was it? There was no space for anybody to dwell in. They just came together at the tent of the testimony, in fact, one scripture called it. Right? So that was it. What are you talking about? You think that's what it was? He's talking about that I may dwell, go sleep inside of it, go lie down inside of it. There had no temple until Solomon came and built this temple, which became a snare to Israel afterward. They started worshipping the building instead of worshipping God. The same thing is still happening today. So I'm saying, David said, one thing I desire. He said, I might dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. So David is talking about something of an eternal, right? To dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. For the time of his trouble, he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. My God, he said to inquire in his temple. Okay, so I'm saying to you, although it says temple, they never had a temple at the time. Okay? So a man could go in and he would inquire, the priest would inquire of God for him. Okay, the priest offer sacrifices and all these sort of things. But even if there were a temple, even if there was a temple that you might have today, okay, or you might have a church or somewhere you call a temple, that's not it. As Stephen said, the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Even Solomon who made a temple, he said, and it was dedicated, he said, my God, you're so big, and this little thing here couldn't even contain you anyway. Okay? So he knew that he had just made something which was like a figurehead, as it were. But I'm saying, David said, one thing I desire. Today, what is that one thing that you desire of God? And that's my question. What do you desire of God? Is it that you want to get to America? Okay, you want to get to England, right? I heard somebody say one time he was getting baptized and he said he promised God that if he got to America, he would serve God. I listened to him what he said, and he kept his promise. He said you're going to get baptized, he said you're going to serve the Lord. But in my mind I'm saying to myself, well, I guess to each his own, but I wouldn't be doing something like that. I don't think that, serving God should be tied up with material things. These things could just collapse at any moment. They could just burn up. You understand? They sang the song another time and another place. And I think it said that the person who wrote it, they got some award from the president or something like that, and I think there was a fire and it burned up everything and something like that. And you just understand that the things of this life, you can't even depend on them. So he said, I'm waiting for another time and another place. It's talking about eternity. Right? Where all my hopes and dreams will be raptured or captured by one look at Jesus' face, something like that. So today, what is your desire? What is that one thing that you desire? And I did not say in the caption, you desire of the Lord. But in truth and in fact, even when people say they desire of the Lord, What is the one thing you desire of the Lord? Is it something that draws them close to God? Or just something that makes them comfortable in this world? I know you have a lot of preachers who are telling you these things, right? The preachers, that's it. And I balk at the whole idea every day of people going to church every week at a time, and they're not preaching the same thing all the while. You know? Oh man, God is your tomorrow is gonna be better than today. Alright? Your next week is gonna be so and so. And I'm saying, okay. And the next time you listen up, it's the same thing they're saying. Okay. Put the money in the plate. Put the offering. And then come back again, the same thing they're saying again. What about this Bible year? Right? It's millions and millions of things in here you could be talking about. Why do you talk about it? I've been telling people every day about, your tomorrow is going to be, and don't worry, man, your tomorrow will be better than today. And all these people are saying, and nothing is happening. Okay? As they said that in Africa, they talk about the preacher. He drive a car, his wife drive a car, his daughter drive a car, his son drive a car, and the people who go to church, they are sitting on the street. And they go up there. So why don't you help them? Why don't you help them? Why must you live in a mansion with bodyguards and all these things and high security around them? And if you are really so a man of God, and why do you need all the security anyway? And I said, you don't need any security if you have God and you have heaven. And I'm a living witness to that. What security do you need? Right? And servants and all these sort of things, right? So I said they come out and they tell you this thing every day, and you get excited, right? You get excited. Okay, what are you asking the Lord for? Lord, I just want if you would just get me across the border into America, right? And so the people are swimming across, and they spend all what they have and what they don't have. Not even talking about what they have. They spend what they don't have. Right? And they want to get, if I could only get to this, and if I could only get that, and if I could only get that. But what is David praying to God for? Do you think he's praying about those things? Obviously not. Because he already has those things. Okay? But he wants that abiding presence of God with him at all times. And he wants to know that that abiding presence that he has with God would translate to his everlasting kingdom when he would actually be in the house of God. Not a house made with hands, not a house of natural, but the Bible talks about the stone that was cut out of the mountain without hands. Had nothing to do with these things that pertain to this life. So, what is that one thing you desire of the Lord today? Alright? Ask yourself. But compare it with what David is saying. And compare it with, as I spoke to children about the man that was blind. When Jesus asked him, the Lord asked him what he wanted, he said, if only I could receive my sight, I'm telling you, Lord, that's all I really want right now. Okay? But I do know that after the Lord had given him sight, given him his sight, that after that he's going to have another desire. His desire might be something, how am I going to get home? I need so and so. But he's going to have desires. Because in this life you have all manner of desires. If it's either food or drink or clothes or whatever, this life is full of desires. And some people, their desire also is if they can just be a cook. You know, I spoke to this guy one time, I said to him, why do you do these things? He said, he's just a bandul, he's just a cook, you know, he can't be honest. Right? So he gets fun out of being a cook. That's his desire. You know what I'm saying? He knows he's being a cook. You know, it's a rascal, but, you know, it gratifies him. That's the thing about desire, and that's why you have to be very careful of what your desires are. Okay? The Bible said, David said, one thing I desired, because anything you desire, you're going to seek after it. If a man desires something and you just sit down and fold his hand, unless he have somebody bringing it to him. But and he go line it up and somebody bring it to him, he knows like he has some kind of puppet or somebody who knows like you can fool him, but he's got to do something to get that desire. That desire will become a reality. Okay? So today, our desire must be for eternity, the things pertaining to eternal life. I know as I was growing up in the church, and they always tell you that whenever you pray, you must always say, Lord, save us in your kingdom when you shall come in glory, or something to that effect. And I still pray like that. Because that's my desire. I might not say the same words that my parents taught me or the other people, but that's my desire. What is your desire? Do you want to see it